There aren't many stories I return to, but Still Wakes the Deep has haunted me ever since I first finished my psychoanalysis on Caz Did, the game's troubled protagonist. I thought I was done with it, but it turns out the game wasn't done with me. It is existentially crushing. An oil rig stranded in the black hearts of the North Sea, nothing but steel holding you above 1,000 meters of suffocating dark. I've worked on a ship for months on end, surrounded by endless water, and I can tell you firsthand, the ocean stirs something primordial within you. The kind of fear that cavemen felt when they first saw fire. When the sea turns violent, you can't even pretend that you have any modicum of control. You are at its mercy. And yet, this story doesn't stop at nature, because there is something else slumbering down in the abyss. Something ancient and otherworldly. And when it wakes, you'll realize death would have been a kindness. Tonight we're going to walk through this story together, including the DLC. Remember, this is a story explained, not a lore video. There is a difference. With me, you're going to get answers and a journey. If you enjoy my story deep dives or psychological analyses, hitting that like button encourages me to continue to make more for you. And since you're still here, you're coming with me. Welcome to
Still Wakes the Deep.
We begin with a letter. Caz's wife, Suze, has just told him that she doesn't want him so far away on a rig in the North Sea for so long. His marriage is fraying. Suze says she won't wait forever, signaling that a separation might be coming if he doesn't change.
Merry fucking Christmas.
Caz, Roy's finishing up breakfast if you want something.
I'll be there in a minute, Trots.
Aye, well, dinna wait too long or someone will be off with it.
Aye. Alright.
Now, any rational man would go back to fix things with his wife. I mean, I love my wife, so it begs the question as to why doesn't Caz go be a good husband? Maybe I'm just being too judgmental, but I would imagine a rig is nobody's first choice, especially for a father and a husband. It's Christmas time in 1975. Caz is in his quarters about to head to the galley for some grub, but before he goes, he takes a look at his desk. We find a Merry Christmas card from his daughters Kate and Mady. To the left of that is an electrician's guidebook telling us that Caz is likely an electrician. We see boxing pictures on the mirror indicating that he's a boxer, which he's going to need his physical conditioning to survive what's coming. On the small window we see pictures of his family, a reminder of who's waiting for him to come back. Caz leaves his cabin to go across to Campbell's room, where we would see a letter that he wrote to management complaining about the lack of safety measures on the oil rig. And to drive this point home, hardly a moment later, we meet Finley, who's fixing the leaky pipes.
What are you doing up there?
Pipes leaking. If it's not one thing, it's the other. See this whole rig? It's a pile of shite. It's falling apart. And we've only just started drilling.
Finley would then ask for a lighter, and Caz gives his, saying he's got no use for it anymore. Moving forward, Caz reaches the canteen, and he hears his fellow crew members complaining about the safety hazards on the rig, led by a man named Trots, or more formally, Campbell. He talks about the horrors to come in a more real and grounded sense. There's going to be a dozen more rigs by next year, along with budget cuts, worsening safety conditions, political exploitation, and understaffing. You see, before any monster shows up, the game makes it clear that the horror has already begun. It's economic, systemic, and entirely human. This canteen is where the entire crew first comes into view, and with it the web of relationships that anchor Caz to the rig. There's Brodie, a seasoned diver with a steady presence, and he's mentoring a young recruit named Rafs, who's gearing up for his very first dive. Then there's Adair, your average grade 8 jerk who takes a few jabs at Caz and hints that this might be his last day on the rig. We also meet Roy, Caz's brother-in-law and the rig's cook. He's friendly, energetic, and deeply familiar with Caz's messes.
You alright, Roy?
Caz, me old mucker. I do.
McClary! To my office. That means now, not as soon as you're ready. Now!
The sweet sound of Davy Rennick.
You think it's the police?
Can't be surprised, Caz. Have you heard from Suze?
She's talking about divorce.
Oh, I'm sorry, Caz. She'll come around.
Not if I get the jail she won't.
Well, maybe you could have considered that while you were battering Billy Chamberlain's head in.
Cunt slagged off Susie, had it coming.
And there he is. Floats like a butterfly, stings like a bee, and swears like the devil himself. Listen, mate, even if it is the police, maybe it's best to just go back and face it, yeah?
Ugh, I don't know, Roy. I'm fucking scunnered with the whole thing.
The Lord loves you, mate, no matter what. And I'm pretty sure Suze does too.
That's all clear for you now, Roy.
Lovely job, thanks, Dobby.
Oh, Trot says he's left your insulin in your cabin.
Oh, bless his little communist socks. Muchly appreciated. Ta. Remember, life is like football. It's not over.
Until the final whistle. Aye. You're a Barnsley fan, so you're pretty much fucked from the off, right?
Oh, I will see you hand for that, McCleary. Off you trot, lad, before his nibs blows a gasket.
And so from this, we can gather why the people from the mainland, the Polis, are looking for Caz. Somebody bad-mouthed his wife, and so he put the beat down on them. Badly enough to get the police involved, and badly enough to get Rennick flared up. So now, Caz has to go face his music. Caz exits the canteen, and we're in open air for the first time. It is a welcomed change, and you can almost smell the salt and oil filling your lungs, but that is quickly interrupted by a booming voice over the speakers.
You want to transfer here, McCleary? You'd give me less lip. Nah, he loves it.
McCleary, my office. Don't make me ask again.
In a better mood today, is he?
You'll be alright, Caz. You get used to it. We all get a turn.
Along the way up to Rennick, we come across a few of our fellow associates, and you can tell that Caz is a reliable and well-liked guy. At the derrick, that's what this tall area with the drill on the rig is called, we learn that they just hit something hard underwater, and they're having trouble going any further. Continuing, we help fix a fuse box, showing how great Caz is with the Lecky. And when we finally get to Rennick's office, he is fuming.
Enter.
Ah, Mr. McCleary. So glad you could join me, and sorry to have got you out of bed. Shut the door and have a seat.
I'm fine standing.
Sit your ass in that chair, you fucking liability.
But
I run a tight ship. Do you understand me? A tight ship.
Technically, it's no shit.
Shut your gob, you Ned prick! I am sick to fucking booking of you wee gobshites messing with my operation. That chef might be a mate of yours, but he does not run things around here. I do. Do you understand me?
All right, why don't you just get on with it?
Don't you answer me back! You might be the height of shite on shore, McCleary, but out here, I am the fucking king. Do you understand me? You bring the Polis to my door, to my rig.
Look, I can sort this, right? I just need time.
Shut it, you clatty gobshite. I've got here's a man who can make a more positive contribution to this operation than you.
Look, I know...
Shut it! I'm in a meeting. What? Fuck's sake, Gib.
So, I don't know, but I think that the main reason Rennick is pissed about the Polis having eyes on his rig is because he's doing some shady stuff. But regardless, Caz is fired on the spot. The way he is resigned to his fate tells us that this probably isn't his first fall from grace. The way he takes it makes us think that he knew it was coming. Maybe he even thinks that he deserves it. However, as Caz leaves Rennick's cabin and goes up to the helipad, there's an explosion, and we hear screams from below. The whole rig is shaking and sirens go off. This is the moment that the story really begins, when what was still is now rudely awakened.
Jesus, Gregor! Gregor! Get away from me! Caz! Caz! Get back, man! Caz! Help me! Caz! Don't let me die, man! Please! I don't want to die! I don't want to die! Jesus, just hang on! Fuck!
The screen distorts, with what looks like acid burns on an old photograph. Warped edges, blistered textures, fading color. It's a striking visual. But I think, in retrospect, this also signals the moment that his memory starts to decay, where time, space, and reality begin to unravel, and the game wants you to feel it. We are sent into a flashback, where Suze and her brother are having a discussion. Roy assures Suze that Caz will be fine on the rig. He also says that he's going to try to get Billy to calm down and pull back on the charges that he pressed on Caz. Suze, however, is far from convinced, and yet she reluctantly agrees. After this memory, Caz gains consciousness again, and though the rig was rather bleak to begin with, the scene we come into is even more desolate. Like a blanket of depression settled over the atmosphere. Sound the horns because Armageddon is coming. Some men drag Caz to safety and he has about a minute before he needs to jump back into action. From here on out, it's all about survival. We're still unclear as to what happened at the rig. So far, we assumed it was just the after effects of a drilling accident. But for now, we have to get to the engineering room, and the only way there is to go underground. When we get there, Finlay calls us over.
Shh. Clary. Caz, over here.
Jesus, Finlay. You alright? You look like you've seen a ghost. Who's making that noise?
Gibbo. He's making that racket.
Should we no find him, help him?
No, wouldn't recommend that.
What does that mean?
It means he's no alright. After that explosion, he got oil or some shite on him and just... I don't know. He freaked out. Went for me. He's still out there.
You mean out here? As in out here with me?
Aye, that's exactly what I mean.
Oh, that's just fucking brilliant. You seen anyone else?
I'll just go here. Where you going anyway?
Back to accommodation.
Listen, you'll have to get through the water tanks to get up to accommodation. And quiet like.
Gotta go all the way up there? Jesus. And what about Gibbo?
Stay the fuck away from him, you listening to me? He's no right, Caz.
I'm no arguing.
Caz! Be fucking careful, eh?
Aye. You know.
And so we move on. One of the crewmen, Gibbo, is trapped somewhere below. His cries and nonsensical rambling echo through the rig as we navigate this labyrinth. The first time we actually see the strange horror creeping through the rig, it's barely a glimpse, more like a shadow. Gibbo's voice cuts through steel, ragged and terrified, screaming, "Stay away!" And just as Caz descends this ladder, we look up and see it. A shifting mass darts across the top for barely a second, just a blur of something impossibly gone wrong. But it was so fast that we couldn't even process what we saw. The fear knocks Caz back, and he falls the rest of the way into the water, his vision bordered by bubbling, burning acid. A moment of respite by the heater before we head into the canteen, where it is now devoid of the relative warmth it had moments earlier. Roy is clearly shaken up. He doesn't know what's going on outside, and Caz doesn't tell him. All he does is promise a clear path to the lifeboats, and then to come back and fetch Roy to get the hell off of the Brodie. Caz leaves, and this is the first time that we see it. In a doorway, through the shifting light and dripping oil, we see it. No clear shape, but it has faces, multiple faces merged into a single form. This is one of the most deeply upsetting creature reveals in any horror game. Otherworldly and a staple scene that anyone could have seared into their mind. But moving forward, once we've reached the lifeboats, escape actually feels possible. That is, until you remember that the rig has been violating safety measures and those lifeboats are useless. It does not help that Rennick, who is responsible for all the cheap equipment on the rig, is still ignorant to the situation outside of his cabin.
Attention crew of the Beira! All personnel need to get to their nearest evacuation point. Don't you all get too excited now. You'll all be back at work in 15 minutes once I get all this nonsense straightened out.
You fucking bastard.
15 minutes. Having seen the monster ourselves, we know that this is impossible. But Rennick hasn't seen the monster. At least we don't think so. His cabin is closest to the helipad, so he's far removed from the reality and the horrors below. It is baffling. While everybody else is trying to make sense of what's happening or straight up just suffering at this point, he's still clinging to control and dragging everybody down with him. And for Caz, the way up to the helipad is no picnic either. With parts of the rig getting blocked due to poor construction, detours are necessary. But unfortunately, one of these said detours takes us through the laundry room, where we would see our second biggest threat, Trots. He's pacing back and forth, muttering to himself about the mess around him, completely unraveled.
What the fuck?
Tell him that. Told him it's not right.
So what I think is interesting a little bit is that if you're paying attention, earlier in the game, Trots was the only one speaking up publicly about the rig's failing systems, trying to stop the inevitable. Now, in the laundry room, he's still perseverating about this mess. The mess could refer to the bodies around the rig. I mean, I like to keep things tidy myself, but it doesn't stop there. The way that I kind of understand this is that by mess, Trots means the collapse of everything that he was trying to prevent. And so you're probably wondering, why am I bringing this up? Well, it's because you'll notice as we go along that the faintest echoes of what people used to be, or even where they used to be, are retained even after this infection gets to them. You'll see what I mean when we meet more monsters and even in the DLC. But that is what makes it scarier, whatever this is. The other thing to note is the acid burn effect around the screen that intensifies whenever you're closer to Trots. It's like the hallucinations operate on a kind of proximity. The closer we are to whatever this thing is, the more reality distorts around it. But, moving on, at this stage, getting away from Trots is almost like a puzzle. You have to throw objects to distract them and hide in cabinets or vents until you can make your escape. When we do finally make it back to Roy in the canteen, he is in quite a state.
What the hell is going on?
Trots. I think it was Trots. No, it's just fucking horrible, whatever it is. Just stay in here and keep quiet.
Did you get to the lifeboats?
Yeah. Fuck knows if they ever work, but they definitely don't fucking work now. I had a wee chat with Rennick about it while I was out there.
How did that go?
Badly. The cunt still reckons we should get to the bird.
You think?
You got a better idea?
He hasn't taken his insulin yet, and his blood sugar is starting to crash, adding to another problem. But there's nothing else to be done. Roy has to go to his room and fetch his insulin. While he's doing that, Caz says that he's going to make Rennick wait for Roy. So with that, we head outside again. But luckily, Rennick seems to be catching up to the fact that this isn't a problem that you can solve or mitigate within 15 minutes.
All personnel, this is an evacuation order. In case I wasn't clear enough the first time, that means get to the helipad now. It's your responsibility to get there, and we will be leaving with or without you. So move it.
That bastard thinks he can fucking leave us.
Of course, Rennick's first priority is himself, but we already knew that. But what we didn't know was that on our way to the helipad, there would be a tall, tentacled monster grabbing whatever crew was still alive out here. This is Muir, and he seems most adamant about letting nobody leave. Muir is desperately begging not to be left alone, but it just comes out as threatening for obvious reasons. And then we meet Inez, who was working with Muir earlier in the game, and Inez seems pretty shaken up.
It's fucking Muir. Muir. Jesus. I don't understand, Caz. Listen, we have to get to the helipad, alright?
I tried talking to him, but he came for me. Like, he didn't care me at all.
It's no him anymore, Innes.
That isn't Muir anymore. It's not his friend. After Caz tells him that they need to make it to the helipad, they agree to meet at the lift, which is a task because it's right across from where we are and Muir is in the way. With Muir looming over us, we weave our way through. Soon we rescue Inez and finally make it to the lift. But scratch that part about saving Inez. Unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do to help. But when one falls, we continue. The problem is we're incredibly close, and we can hear Rennick scream at the pilot to leave. But there's something about Rennick's voice. It's a little mangled.
You saw them? They're gone! Get a move on! Archie! Rennick! We have to give them more time! You told them to come! What I told them is that we are leaving! And we are leaving now!
We finally reach the helipad, but only to watch our last escape plan leave.
Archie, stop! Die here. Christ. Zeus. Fuck. Come on. Come back. Hey! What the fuck's he doing?
Something happened on that helicopter, causing it to crash, killing them. And here we're given another glimpse into Caz's past. Suze is livid with him about beating up Billy Chamberlain and running to the North Sea to hide until things cool off. She tells him that he knows nothing about oil rigs, and yet Caz argues that he's good with the Lecky, and Roy, who already works there, put in a good word for him. Except, the problem isn't that Caz is leaving. A bunch of other information tumbles out, like how Suze recalls her mother saying that she would always marry beneath her. This entire interaction reveals how Suze kind of feels about him. Don't get me wrong, I believe she loves him, but she also sees him as a big dumb idiot who gets into fights because he's not smart enough to navigate his way out of a situation with tact or grace. The flashback ends with her saying that if he runs off, if he leaves the family for the North Sea, that they are done. Honestly, on her part, valid crash out. Because once you're married, and especially when you have kids, your decisions affect the entire family. Back to reality, Caz admits to himself that he's losing his mind. But there's no time. With the helicopter gone, Caz needs to find another way out, and he's got to find it fast. We get a call from Brodie asking us to go to the radio room and call a support ship, except the radio room is trashed and the lights are about to go out. And so our next mission is to make sure the generators under the rig are still working. As Brodie says, there are several radio rooms, but only one set of generators, which is why we can't simply just go to another radio room and we have to go fix the generators. On our way down, the acid burns return. Something is dangerously close. Our spidey senses are tingling. Rennick. So, you aren't dead. Now he's just a giant head with appendages. It's almost poetic. The egotistical megalomaniac reduced to nothing but a bloated face and flailing limbs, all mouth, no mind. The man with the big head who used to bark orders over the speakers is now infused into the nightmare fuel that he ignored, and he's still screaming. And this goes on for a long time, until we finally get back to engineering, and Finley tells us what to do next. We have to manually reset the generators while she fixes the issue that's preventing the generators from working in the first place. which would be a lot easier if the mutated Adair wasn't crawling around with us. Luckily, he is lazy.
Fuck off, you cunt! Where's that fucking relay?
However, we still can't celebrate yet because immediately there is another problem.
Finlay?
Caz? No, it's Brodie. I thought it was Finlay with the lights coming back on.
It worked? Thank Christ. Finlay was here, but we get separated. You alright?
Aye. The rig isn't though. We're starting to sink.
Are you kidding me? How long till it goes under?
Soon, if we do nothing. Look, I need you to come down to the pontoons. If we engage the tension winches in all four legs, we can buy some time.
What's the point? The pontoons, the electricity, they fucking things. It's a fucking nightmare.
What you on about? You survived this long, haven't you? More than can be said for most of the poor bastards on this rig. Christ, Caz. Somebody up there must like you.
That's what Roy keeps telling me.
Aye. Well, he's a Barnsley fan, so he'll be used to praying.
Aye, you're no wrong there.
You engage the winches in legs A and B, and I'll do the others. Easy. There's a direct route down from engineering.
Aye, alright. I'll find my way down.
Top man, Caz. I'll give you a shout over the tannoy if we're in business.
Our next task is to help Brodie stop the rig from sinking. And Caz has this moment where he asks what the point of all of it is, the lights, the rig, when everybody on the To Beira is dead. And Brodie reminds him that Caz is still alive, and it must be for a reason. Although they can't stop the collapse, they can still buy themselves time to find an escape. And so, down we go again. We successfully make it to the first winch, but on our way to the second one, we see O'Connor.
O'Connor? Is that you?
Go away! I need it.
Oh, Christ. Oh, man. What happened to you?
Go and fetch Mary.
An example of the different ways that this infection gets you. O'Connor hasn't turned, not fully, not yet, at least. All he can do is remember his wife as the tentacles hold on to him. And as Caz apologizes for not being able to help, tentacles push through O'Connor and manage to grab us. But we manage to escape and make it to the second winch, and Brodie thanks us over the speakers for giving them a fighting chance. After all of that stress, the game finally allows you a small moment of respite. As we journey upwards on this lift, the visual is eerie and ethereal, but it's also strangely serene, peaceful. We see the extent of the damage done by this membranous substance, but there's no denying that there is a strange alien beauty to it, a light that draws you in, almost as if you were its prey. But moving forward, after we've had a chance to warm up by the heater, we come across a poem, The Trawlermen, and its words mirror everything that we've seen so far. You see, the trawlermen are men pulled out to sea and left behind by the world, strayed and bound, just like Caz, bound to the rig and strayed away from his family. Beira, also the name of this rig, who is the Celtic goddess of winter, is named in this poem too. Her grip on the sea is mythic, but here, in this situation, it feels literal, almost like the crew's fate was sealed from the very start. It's a reckoning. The poem even evokes a mother figure watching the waves for the men who won't return. And someone might look at this and think of Sue's or maybe Caz's daughters. But then there's this line, and still wakes the deep, and still on we plow. There it is. The game's title, its thesis. The sea doesn't sleep or stay still. It always comes back. Moving on, the phone rings and we get to hear from Roy, who had gone to his room to find his insulin. and Caz updates him on everything that's happened so far, although Roy doesn't sound too good. He also knocks some things over, which indicates to us that he still hasn't gotten his insulin. Then the conversation is interrupted when there's an explosion in the distance. So Caz hangs up to go check it out when the phone rings again. This time, though, it's nobody from the rig, it's his wife. Which shouldn't be possible, isn't possible, because you can't make calls or receive calls from the mainland, at least back then. But then he starts to hear his own voice on the phone, too.
She's hurting me. I'm gonna have my head stuck in
Sus!
this.
Is that you?
Oh, Jesus! This one's trying to give me a kicking and all.
Gonna be a wee boxer, eh?
Aye, you wish.
I wish I could see you. You're beautiful like this.
Aye? Well, I feel like an elephant.
Christ, what is this? Sus! Sus?
So for me, this is the first time that we get a sign that Caz has been infected. I suspect it probably happened when he fell into the ocean back in the beginning. Whatever was in the water had gradually been taking over him. It seems to be getting progressively worse, but who knows how long it's going to be before it completely consumes him. We leave the phone and we go towards that explosion, but the whole place is dripping with oil. One single spark and boom, it is over. As we get closer and closer to the monster's origin on the rig, Suze's voice becomes clearer.
You have to do it. I don't care.
Suze! Jesus Christ, what the fuck is happening to me?
Making our way over to Brodie, he tells us that the main feed has been ruptured. We see flames shooting down the main pipe, and that might just be a little bit of a problem as it could cause a massive explosion. We already saw the oil spilling from the ruptured lines, and it's basically a ticking time bomb. Now, Caz isn't exactly eager to head back out into the chaos alone to reroute the flow to the auxiliary pipe, especially with Adair on the loose, but he has no choice. So after dodging Adair,
Fuck's sake, I'm waiting in the clearing.
Again, really lazy. He could have kept trying to get through the gate and he probably would have had us trapped and killed us, but once we reach the diverter valve and do what Brodie has asked of us, the feed switches. Only, Brodie says it didn't work, which means it's up to us to go up there and do it manually. Which Caz isn't happy about either, but again, there is no choice. We head up to the stack, and unfortunately the alarm on the door gives away our position to Adair.
I'm trying to save us, you stupid fucking bastard! Let's see him squeeze through there. Jesus. This fucking floor fired.
Thankfully, we make it to the edge and ignite the gas, but as a bonus, we burn Adair too.
Jesus.
So we start heading back to the rig, but the explosion has weakened the structure that we're on, and consequently, unsurprisingly, we fall off, inducing into another flashback. We drop into yet another heated argument between husband and wife, one that makes it painfully clear that this isn't just about the rig or the job, it's about everything that came before. They're fighting over Billy again, who apparently never got over the fact that Suze chose Caz instead of him. His bitterness turned into gossip and Caz reacted badly. He claims he took the high road, but Suze isn't having it. I guess we understand a little bit more of their rivalry. However, Suze is right. If Caz really was the bigger man, she says their daughters wouldn't be at risk of losing their home, their father, especially since the flat is in his name. She calls him out, cuts through his excuses, and tells him plainly that she is smarter than he is and always has been. I bet those words cut deep. I bet they cut deep. It ends with the same warning as before. Fix this or lose everything. But I don't even really blame Suze because she is valid. You can tell she still loves Caz, but she also has to think about their girls. But that's why, as a man with a family with everything to lose, I don't think you should be out making dumb decisions like getting into fights. That's for young blood, but even then, nobody ever wins in a fight. I mean, you could beat somebody, but then you could also suffer dire consequences from the law, or if you get into a fight, it could be your head on the pavement. Personally, I've had a few men badmouth my wife throughout the years, and it always takes everything in me to just walk away. It is my wife and future kids' life on the line, always, with every decision that I make. But back to the story. Once we're back on our feet, by some miracle or plot armor, we head back to the rig, and it's obvious how much further the rig has sunken into the water. But we make it to safety. However, entering the engineering room, we find a note from Brodie to Finley. It says that we are dead. Yet he is still hopeful they can get off of this rig alive. Later on, when we catch up to them, they're both surprised and relieved to see us, and there is a renewed sense of hope because Brodie has a plan.
Caz? I thought... Aye, he's a walking greeting miracle. Are we doing this or no?
Aye. We float the rig. I'll dive down and release the tension cables. Hopefully we balance out, maybe end up higher in the water. I'll need you both at marine control.
It's Roy.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Just then, Roy is heard over the intercom, breathless, panicked, no longer his usual optimistic self because he still hasn't managed to get back to his room and get his insulin. He's stuck on the roof of the accommodation cabin, and Caz says that he has to go fetch him. Brodie warns against this, since they are literally on a burning, sinking rig that's spewing oil and gas everywhere. Plus, they needed Caz to stay and help keep the rig afloat. But Caz promised to get Roy home safely to his sister, and so off we go. We very nearly make it to accommodation, but Trots finds us again and gives chase. Oh man, I hate horror games where I have to crawl through vents. But hopping down to temporary safety and looking into this window that repeats into infinity, we move on. But Trots is relentless, yet just as he's about to get us, the doorframe collapses and kills him. And even now, after all this, Caz says,
I've got to go.
At the roof of the accommodation, we find Roy, but it doesn't look promising.
Come on, Roy. Roy, wake up, you prick. Please wake up. Wake up, come on. Oh, you bastard. Don't leave me here. Please, big man, come on back. Christ, don't leave me. Roy, don't leave me. I can't do this, man. I'm scared, Roy. I'm fucking terrified. What am I going to tell Susan? Hey. I mean, she's going to fucking kill me, man, you know? She loved you, big man. She really loved you. So did my girls. Wait, what am I going to tell them? Oh, I'm sorry. Your Uncle Roy's not coming home. Aye, I know. Me and Ollie. I love this big man, do you hear me? I loved him.
There's hardly a moment to grieve. Finley calls us on the phone to say that she can't get to Marine Control to call for help, so Caz has to do it instead since he's in a better position to get there. But Caz breaks down with guilt and grief as he informs Finley that Roy is dead. Finley tries to console him, saying that nothing that's happened on this rig is his fault. It's not anybody's. It's just an absurdly hopeless and terrible situation. They're all just trying to survive. And now, there's nothing else to do except go forward. Finley reminds Caz that they still have a chance if he can get to Marine Control. So, heading out, we see whatever this invisible force is in full effect. It's taken over the rig completely, consumed it. While he crosses, it's as if the entire world is collapsing in slow motion around him. Shattered debris hangs in air like suspended ash, frozen in a moment of violent disarray. The derrick, now just an enormous twisted structure spiraling upwards, glows with a deep, unnatural crimson light that pulses like the heartbeat of something alive. I mean, just look at the frame, jagged and chaotic, made of interlocking metal and what looks like sinew coils, as if flesh and machinery have fused together. The storm rages in the distance, casting bolts of white-blue light across the scene, but it doesn't overpower the eerie, pinkish-red glow emanating from the core of the derrick. Everything about this feels unholy, like we're at the base of some interdimensional wound, coalescing infinitely into madness. And Caz finds himself nestled inside the apocalypse, as the moon haunts you. The message is clear. We don't walk away from this. Heading forth, we see the drill operator, Roper, trapped.
Roper? No, you and all. Nice and slow. That's alright. I just need to make a call. Yeah? Aye. Here we go.
He doesn't seem dangerous. Infected, yes, but mostly immobile. It's disgusting, but we can go about our business. We just have to be on high alert. Finley talks us through what needs doing, and Roper even lets us take the keys that we need to unlock the controls. With the hum of the machine starting up, Finley now tells us to flood the forward pontoons so that the rig gets balanced, but Brodie is still under there. Then, during their conversation, Roper yells,
What?
It's coming from me. Keep him away.
What was that?
It's Roper.
Never mind him. Flood the forward pontoon.
Aye, hang on.
Finley assures us that Brodie would be out by now, so we proceed with the flood, and the rig does seem to stabilize right after. But now that that's done, Finley says to meet her at drill ops. While heading there, we get another phone call. Once again, this isn't a real phone call because we can hear Suze and Caz on the line.
Suze? Suze! What?
I can't find her!
Suze!
It's almost as if this entity has accessed his memories and, in a way, is absorbing his consciousness. Like, his memories are now becoming part of the rig, of the monster. As we make our way to drill ops, we come across Rennick again, and we have to navigate what is essentially a flooded maze. We finally get to Finley, but it turns out Brodie hadn't gotten out yet. When we flooded the pontoons, Brodie got trapped there as well. Caz essentially sealed his fate. He can't get out, but something he says is important.
There's oil and gas getting in here. When it fills, it will be headed right up the drill pipe.
What are you on about?
I'm still in the pontoons. One spark and the leg's flooded and the gas. It's not possible.
You got your dive gear?
Aye.
So you can use that?
It's oil, Caz. There's nothing to be done.
Don't fucking say that.
Brodie accepts his fate. saying he's already imagining that he's back on the Scottish Isle of Skye and how peacefully beautiful that is. However, he then says to make sure that Finley doesn't do anything stupid before the line cuts, and that's when Finley, with new fire in her eyes, talks about how they need to do what needs to be done. She holds up the same lighter that we gave her at the beginning of the story, because it is so clear now. The monster won't stop with them. Even if we manage to get off of this rig, it won't stop the horror from crossing into the mainland, devouring more. Whatever biological nightmare they disturbed needs to go back to sleep at the bottom of the sea. So Finley bolts off, determined to burn this entire rig to hell and to kill the monster with it, but also us. So we chase after her as the rig continues to flood and collapse in places. She's headed for the center, the drill, the derrick, the source of all this misery and horror. But before Finley can get there, she's trapped under falling debris. It's at this moment that she asks a profound question.
Finley, I'm here.
Guys, what is it here? When it's close?
Who do I hear?
Christmas card.
I hear my wife. I just want to get back to her, Finley. To my weans.
I hear my boy. When he was wee, you know. I hear him now.
Kate. I'm thinking Kate.
He's singing. We're not seeing him again, Caz.
There's got to be a ship coming. You said it yourself.
Christ, Caz. We don't want him coming. Jesus!
I'm sorry, Finley. I don't know what to do.
We've got to face it, Caz.
What do you mean?
We can't get back. We can't. But I can.
What?
It's not going to stop with us. Fuck's sake, McCleary. For once in your life, be brave. Be brave for them. You can't save yourself, but you can save them.
Jesus, Finley.
You want to leave it a chance? For guest in the mainland. You know I'm right. I'm always fucking right.
Oh, Christ. Christ. All right. Aye, all right. For them. Fuck.
Caz knows what to do. There's no other way. Of course, he wishes that he didn't have to be the one to do it, to be stuck in this tragedy. He wishes he just walked away from Billy Chamberlain that night. Had he done so, he just might be back at home, cuddled up with his wife, safe and sound. His daughters might have grown up with a father. But no. Unfortunately, he made too many mistakes that he couldn't come back from. So now, all he has is his midnight walk towards his glorious doom. It's like walking the plank off of a ship, closing in on the center. There is a deep, thundering pulse, like the heartbeat of the monster. But it is here that Caz makes one important realization after having fought to delay the inevitable for so long.
God almighty. Oh, Christ. We never had a chance.
The acid burns are getting more intense. Everything is quickly corrupting, disappearing. We get to the edge and look at the void below us, with one final apology to Suze. Enveloped in the cleansing flames, now everything is finally quiet, still. In Caz's final moments of consciousness, he stops recalling the worst moments of his life and starts to appreciate the best. He's back with Suze, laughing, reliving the moment they reconnected as adults, their proposal, the birth of their first daughter. But then, everything begins to blur as we swim towards the Kaleidoscope Eyes.
You make beautiful wains. I want to spend my whole life with you.
She's perfect.
She looks just like you.
Thank God for that. She's got your eyes, though.
My dad's eyes.
I'm sorry, Caz. I know you'd have wanted him to meet her.
Nah, fuck him. The bastard wasn't interested in me. Why would he care about her?
We love Jenny's way, Caz.
I'll never leave you, Suze. I'll be at your side forever. And I'm always going to be here for this, Wayne.
And then, he wakes. He's home. It's quiet. Suze is still asleep beside him. Around the room are family photos. Their wedding. The girls growing up. A crayon drawing on the wall. And before heading out, Caz glances back at the life he chose to leave behind and says,
Kiss the Waynes for me. Tell them I'll be back for Christmas. I'm sorry, Suze.
This is a memory. This is the morning he left for the rig. In these final moments, removed from the infection and the madness of the rig, we can actually see clearly Suze was always going to wait.
Hey, Caz. I'm sorry it's been so hard. Just wanted to send you this. To say we'll get through it. I know we will. Just take care out there and bring my beautiful big gallus man back home in one piece, okay? I miss you and I love you. And the girls miss and love you. I'm still raging at Roy, but he's a good man and I know he'll look after you. Whatever happens, we will be all right. We can weather this. Just wanted to say that to you, Caz. To keep you safe and close and make sure you know to come home to us. I love you, Cameron McCleary. Be safe out there on those waters. My man. My love.
Just like the ocean itself, where there was once violent dread, now there is calm. Caz died as a man who really did love his wife, but unfortunately not enough to put his emotions to the side and not get into fights. However, 11 years later, in 1986, some divers would come to visit this underwater graveyard. Only, they're about to find out that some things are better left untouched.
Why don't we do the checklist before Rob's back?
Just a moment.
Really? And you didn't send us any?
The Oaxacan coffee bean is too delicate for such conditions. Under that kind of pressure, it would lose all its integrity.
Oh, I am sure. I'll stick with my tea then, thanks.
Alright, let's get to it. Depth?
187 meters.
Pressure?
0.4 bar.
Communication clarity?
I mean, I could hear you slurping.
Diving suit hot water temperature?
Looks like 41 degrees Celsius.
Reserve oxygen for the diving bell?
Both green. Now, you. Clump weight status?
Almost back. Easy if you can meet me out here, Mary.
On my way, Rob.
Mary, the checklist?
We did the critical parts. No reason to keep him waiting now.
So, before Mary dives in, she takes a look at the board which gives us our objectives. To retrieve the data logger from the Beira D, in order to discover what happened to the rig, and they should find that in Marine Control. Along the way, they're also to collect any personal artifacts to return to family members and take any pictures of any human remains. Mary descends into the depths and stops by to speak with Rob, who says he scoped out the area and placed flares for her to follow. Eager to uncover why 50,000 tons of steel just sunk into the bottom of the sea, she begins swimming over the abyss. On the way, she asks Rob if he found anybody, and it's clear that Mary isn't here for hobby, The sound in her voice, the hopefulness and disappointment when Rob says that he didn't, tells us that she's here for more personal reasons. But who did she know on the Beira? When she starts finding her way in, already she would be met with cold bodies.
It's not.
No. This must be Vanderbilt. There's no dignity in this death.
I hear you. No one would have chosen this.
Alright, I'll take the shot. Okay, done. It's all just so horrible, like I'm disrespecting the dead, you know?
Mary, you being here is just the opposite. You're not disrespecting these people, Mary. You're laying them to rest.
She's about to find out that they should have just left everything alone down here to actually rest. Whatever peace this place had found, they've already disturbed it. And what she's about to come face to face with is going to mess her up in more ways than one. Maybe, if she's lucky, she'll get the closure that she came for. As she looks around, she discovers coral, actual coral. Down here, at a depth where it shouldn't exist. It's too deep, it's too cold, and yet here it is. However, they just mark it up to a new discovery to be shared for research purposes when they get back to the mainland. Once inside the Beira itself and entirely, the groans and croaks of metal would make her heart beat faster. But she presses on, and starts finding things related to people who used to be here, even Rennick, where Mary would comment on his tough management style.
Tough management?
What was the name of the site manager?
David Rennick. Main man in the rig. Ruled with an iron fist, apparently.
So has his office been near you?
No, he had a perch up top.
That's a little ominous.
Yeah, but, I met his twin grandkids. Rennick was meant to care for them that Christmas, but Cadal had put him on notice for under-delivery. So he stayed here with everyone else, and they all paid the ultimate price.
Yeah, fair play.
I do wonder how long that umbilical cord extends. It gives her oxygen and lets her communicate with Hans and Rob, but we've spaghettied our way around the ocean floor and haven't really had any issues with it. But the thought is interrupted as...
You alright?
Yeah, I thought I saw something.
If I was a betting man, I would say that something knows she's here now. Maybe it's just the whale though. But, as she continues deeper still, parts of the rig would collapse behind her, meaning this just got more complicated. Her way back is blocked off, so after she finds the data logger, she's going to need to find a different way back. However, Mary would discover and be astounded to find an air pocket in the rig, an entire room not submerged underwater. So, of course, she detaches her cord and gets out of the water to take a look around.
I wonder. Guess not.
Look, I'm no astrologer or anything, but come on. You don't need a degree to know that you shouldn't be breathing in air that's been sealed off and stagnant for over a decade. Just look at the place. Everything's rusted, rotting, and with water involved, you have an environment conducive to infectious growths. You really think that's not floating around in the air too? Whatever kind of biocontaminants are lingering in here, congratulations, you just inhaled all of it. And when or if you get back to the mainland, you're taking that infection with you. Caz died for nothing. Of course, Mary starts coughing and soon she would hear some banging and clanking. Is this because she's now infected with the same entity that consumed the Beira, Caz, and everybody else? Or is there something in that place with her? Opening the door to where she thought she heard the noises, she sees nothing. It's just a room with nowhere else to go. So maybe she is just hearing things? Swimming through more coral, where eventually we find our way to marine control, and even though things are turned upside down and less lively, you might remember this place as where Caz found Roper bio-glued to the chair. But by the time that Mary finds Roper 11 years later, he is just a skeleton, stuck in the old and decayed coral. Finding the data logger, Mary would attempt to find her way out, but then she would fall and see some of that same burning acidic film imagery that we did with Caz. However, when she opens her eyes,
You're mad, do you, if you let the fairies take me?
What?
Anything to get out of diving.
She's back home on the mainland in Scotland. Her little whelp when she heard that man's voice echoing in her head. To me, that seemed painfully heartfelt, like she recognized that voice, reinforcing my running theory that Mary isn't just here to discover what happened to the Beira, but what happened to somebody that she used to know. However, she clips back to reality and finds herself in quite a mess as all of her disturbing the skeleton of the rig has caused a collapse and now water is flooding in. Somehow, she's able to not only rapidly swim through this long hole without smashing into anything, but she miraculously finds her way out. Except right when she does, right when she thinks that she's done, a flare would fall further down below, revealing that there was even more of the Beira sleeping. Gasping for oxygen, she makes it to the bell. Rob is of course concerned, but she starts telling him about what she saw. Despite Rob and Hans being both apprehensive, they know how important this Expedition 33 is to her, so they agree to head down. Diving back into the water, Mary would find an even deeper trench, which is actually insane and scary to think about. Like, imagine if there wasn't all that water there. It would just be a long drop. But after making our way into the wreckage, Rob would inform Mary that he extracted some audio from the data logger.
Come down here myself.
Get away from the edge! Guys! Get back, man!
Moving forward, after finding an air pocket, Mary would find that same exact corpse from the beginning. But that was further up on a different sea level and in a different section of the rig, so...
It has to be someone else.
Or maybe whatever she's inhaled is slowly starting to affect her, now making her see things. But moving on through the vents, out of nowhere, a giant ball of coral forces its way through and begins barreling towards her. Of course, she's swimming backwards, so she gets steamrolled. But eventually she makes her way out safely, only her umbilical cord gets stuck, forcing her to remove it. This means that she has no communication and is on a limited supply of oxygen. Alone and down there in the dark, with the dampened sounds of metal groaning, a red flare would slowly light the way for her. Rob had come after her, but she is in a frantic state, trapped. And what is worse is that her survival instincts are alerting her, saying that something is down there with her. But right now, she just needs to focus on finding a way out. So Rob gives her flares, since her flashlight seems to be struggling with some kind of electro interference, and he reassures her that she will find a way out, and that when she does, she will have 2 weeks in decompression where she can just chill and listen to music. But that isn't enough to temper the fear surrounding her in this abyss, and Mary knows this, but she still descends back into the belly of the beast.
Oh, Jesus, there are human remains in this chunk of coral.
Fuck me. You're serious?
Got a picture. We'll definitely want to look at this later.
James, definitely.
Okay, 2 things here. 1, I think that this is the conglomerate of biomass that Caz saw hanging in the corner of the ceiling, the one with the bunch of faces. And 2, how is Rob talking to her when she doesn't have her umbilical cable attached? I'm no pescatarian, but something is definitely fishy here. Swimming forward through perfect dark, with only the red of flares to guide us, she would begin to wonder how she was ever going to get out. But that's when Rob's voice statics in, saying, "You never will, Mary. You'll remain here now."
God, how am I going to get out of here?
You never will, Mary. You're fine here now.
It's cutting out again, Rob. Oh God, the umbilical?
Seeing this achievement solidifies my theory that this thing absorbs human consciousnesses into it, creating a collective of sorts. I mean, to be fair, the signs were already there, but this is the nail in the coffin. What I want to know is why? And does that mean that Caz is still somewhat alive in a way? Or maybe he just blew up. I don't know. Running away from whatever this thing was, she finds herself on the Beira. Except this was the Beira before it was destroyed. So is this a hallucination or a memory? And if so, then whose? Caz's? Everything looks fine, but there's this warping sound and it feels upsettingly empty. That is until she heads upstairs and begins to hear her father's voice. She calls out to him like her heart and soul have been yearning for him.
Dad? And she is too. Dad? I can hear you!
Okay, so initially I thought this was one of Caz's daughters who learned how to dive just to try and find out what happened to him, but this is actually Brodie's girl. Mary is Brodie's daughter. Entering her father's quarters, she picks up a photo and addresses him, asking if he's the one doing this, showing her these hallucinations, and why he's never where he's meant to be, why she grew up without a father. But then she blinks and is thrusted back into her reality, that she is still stuck in her echoes of Limbo. Struggling to find her way out, she would even come across Caz's boxing picture, but it was completely fine, unmarred by the corruption of time and degradation. Even Mary would wonder how it survived this long. But she utilizes the word "you," and maybe I'm overthinking it, but maybe she's unknowingly addressing Caz directly. Eventually, she would find her way out and rush to the bell, following Rob's red flares, the music swelling and uplifting her, almost like sirens were orchestrating her moments of freedom. Although, when she gets to the bell, something's wrong. Rob wasn't here, and the comms to Hans weren't going through, but that's when something big hits the diving bell, knocking it over and plunging Mary back into darkness. There she would find herself putting her helmet back on as the alarms were setting off and water was beginning to flood. With no choice, she goes back into the water, where something wasn't going to let her leave.
Rob? This is insane.
This sea creature was circling Mary, and whenever it got close, it would distort her vision. But the more interesting thing was that wherever it swam, it left behind this viscous black ink or oil, it looks like. While we tried to weave our way through this underwater death trap, that thing would constantly try to find us. It's almost as if it was connected to Mary, because it was tracking her hard. At one point, it does get her, and if you actually slow this scene down a bit before it does, you can sort of see the abomination more clearly. You see its body and the multiple skeletons that have been absorbed into it. Moving along, Mary would find her way out, or at least she thought, because she starts swimming for her life towards a door that never seems to get closer. But with the lack of oxygen, she begins to cough, sputter, and wheeze, calling out to Rob and to her father. And soon, she would black out. But when she opens her eyes, she's back on the misty Isle of Scotland, home. Yet she's unnerved because she knows that she can't be there right now. Walking forward and onto a viewing platform, she's further astounded, recognizing that she's been there before. Except she can't help but wonder why it looks so different. We can clearly see a blue container with the Cadal logo on it, so perhaps her memory is being mixed in with someone else's, probably her father's.
Is that you? Dad! Dad! It's me! Hold on! I'm coming!
Running and flopping as fast as she possibly can over to her father, she has waited to see him for such a long time. I can't even imagine what it's like to miss somebody for that long. But then when Mary finally reaches him, she's hysterical. But oddly, Brodie doesn't seem to really be engaging with her. He's not replying or acknowledging anything that she's saying. It's almost as if he is programmed to only say things that have already been said in a memory that they shared. He tells her that all he needs is his wife, his daughter, and Skye. Which, by the way, for those of you who don't know, the Isle of Skye is a well-known and extremely breathtaking island in Scotland. But that is when the other workers from the rig show up, the other consciousnesses that have been absorbed into the entity. Then, as we hear extremely faint and distant pounds and screams of Rob trying to get Mary to come back, Brodie tries to get his daughter to come into the water and join the collective. But Mary decides she doesn't want to let go. She wants to stay with her father. But I want you to listen and watch this scene for yourself without my voiceover.
Just hold on. I've got you.
Oh, Dad.
Don't worry. Dive together. You let it be. What more could anyone need? I've got you.
This next video was about a diver who investigates a ghost ship called the Thalassa. I'll see you over there in that story.